So here we have a January recap with because we're at the very end of January, and I know it is significant in the reading for February of 2026. I'm getting very strong nudges to do monthly readings and post them for the year. So here we are. I have called on my guides and helpers and guides and helpers of the multiverse. So we have a full room. We have an audience, and everybody has their heart space available for humanity and the shifts that are about to uh, transpire, and how much love we have and support. One of the things that keeps coming through is to call on your helpers. Um, and to be open to really listen to what is coming through for you, and also through for your communities, and the masterful way you can direct where your focus goes and how the energy can uplift even in the seemingly smallest of circumstances. Know that you are very powerful and connected with so much help, so much help. So in January, we have a very strong focus on being really grounded and connected in community. There's a certain level of feeling grateful for the abundance, the relaxed state that we now can uh, give our energy to situations. We are starting to understand how valuable these global meditations really are, and that our voices within these groups are heard are heard in an energetic way, and that our individual work is has a ripple effect in the quantum field of our interactions between our global community, but also throughout the multiverse. And that includes, our current galaxy and then beyond. So if we could, for a moment, imagine less of an empty space around us and more of a plasma liquid state with fascia, with lines, with ley lines, very much like acupuncture, um, and the grid work that's available to us, and how as we line up our energies, we um, are in contact with these lines that go through energetically through the multiverse. So keeping your meditations somewhat focused on bringing the love and the light and clarity for humanity is a huge part of the work here right now. And so to really nurture that ability and nurture that practice, because in February, all the buttons are getting pushed, and it's pretty rigorous. And the amount of reveal and the amount of information and um I don't know, the variability of information that's going to just trigger everybody on some level. There's not going to be a person on the planet that isn't going to have something um being tossed about within them, personally and also on a global level. And how can we hold space for each other? That's what's really coming through here, is not only in January have we spent time nurturing our communities and our relationships, but there's an awful lot of self-care going on. We're taking that self-care from January and remembering to do it in February. Your own personal practice, your own, I've got to just shut down the social media. I got to go, spend the night, no electricity. How can you um, ground yourself intermittently. Maybe you had a once a week deal. Let's up the ante. Let's do it more than once a week. Let's say every night, after 9 p.m., we're off. We're off. No more information coming in. Our personal resonance within our heart helps our mind understand, and even if it can't understand, develop ways of finding new perspective through the information that is coming to light. And how what is the new stance that humans are taking in lieu of all of this information coming to the surface? And how can we do it better than what has already been done? How can we really be more supportive of choices that nurture the wholeness of relationships and communities? It's only the more we're able to hold that space and nurture the support we give to ourselves, and nurture the support that this can facilitate with others. That's the way through. um a push to action. I feel like that's the action. The action is hold hands. um we are mirrors of each other. And how can we be more compassionate and stop pointing the finger and being judgmental? Because that's only divisive. It won't see us through. It hasn't in the past, and it won't change anything to the better if we continue to do that now. And I feel like that is February in a nutshell. There's going to be great choices to make after February. But during February, we're just going to get bombarded with a lot of situations that we thought we had a handle on, and it turns out we didn't really have all the information, and that's what's coming through. And so, uh, how can you call on more help for you in your spiritual practice? Are there helpers that maybe you haven't met yet? Maybe you're really in touch with your angel realms, but have you reached out to Palladians and Syrians? What have you played with? Lyrans. There are many. There are Middle Earth helpers as well in the fairy realms. Um, what is it that during your meditation you may have seen or felt something, but then just pushed it aside? These are the beings that are asking to come through and help, but they need an invitation because they will not interfere on their own. That is part of the contract, really. Um, the promise that humanity would do this on our own recognizance. So let's stand up on our own 2 feet, but we can always reach out for help. And there's so many groups of helpers preparing for walking this walk with us. And I'm very grateful for their presence. I too am going to experiment with this and see where it takes me. But February is a time to hold hands, for sure. I'll post this soon, before February, and then continue on for the rest of the year. If there's a personal reading that you would like, just reach out to me. I've left links on in my bio for Substack, Facebook, and my website.